AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Thompson. All right, we're here to let you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Mike Triplett will join us next hour. A lot of black and gold we want to dive into. We do have some updated college football national champion Heisman Trophy conference odds. All that stuff as spring football is coming to an end. A lot of football to dive into. We'll do that actually right now. Saints have inked their UDFA class, and Mason Shipley, kicker from the University of Texas, part of it, now a member of the Black and Gold, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, Mason, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Okay, easy one. Why'd you pick New Orleans?
It's the best spot to be right now. You think about it for a specialist, man, any chance you can get to kick in a dome or something inside, it's a really good scenario.
Not bad. Throughout the draft process, did you have a lot of contact with the Saints?
Not much, actually. It's kind of one of those things where a lot of teams, for specialists, they don't want to say stuff. They don't want to show their cards. And so the Saints, obviously, we spoke a little bit before and stuff, but you can never solidify anything. So it was awesome to get that call after and come to New Orleans.
Yeah, so, Mason, if you would, walk me through that. So, did you get the call from New Orleans? Was it before the draft ended or, once the draft ended?
It was once the draft ended, yeah.
Okay, so draft ends. How long till your phone rings?
Probably not even a minute.
Right? That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
You got to make a decision quickly. So,
yeah.
I assume you have an agent. Did you and your agent talk beforehand that, what your pecking order was going to be if you had multiple offers?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we went down the list and we chose our top spots, and the Saints was actually number one, so it was awesome to kind of get that one first and just get it out of the way, right? So it was good. It was awesome.
That's amazing, man. That was going to be the number one choice. The phone rang, and it was New Orleans.
Yep.
Charlie Smith is the incumbent there. I don't know if you know much about him. We talked to Charlie at the Super Bowl, and great dude, but finding his way as well. Was that part of it, the fact that there isn't a long-term established starter, though?
I mean, yeah, I think when you think about the NFL, I think everywhere you go, no matter where you go as undrafted free agent or as a kicker, you're going to have competition. You're going to have somebody you have to beat out. That's just how it is. Obviously, there's some guys that, you got Nick Folk at the Falcons that, he's been in the league for 20 years. So, as a kicker, I think it's just a good opportunity, not only just to compete, but to play. So, yeah.
Man, Mason Shipley's our guest. When I found out you were coming on the show, and I started doing, a little prep, and, it's your brothers, Matthew and Michael, were both college kickers as well. How did the Shipley family become, did all you become kickers? I mean, you're like the Grammaticas.
Yeah. It's funny. Really nothing crazy. We all played soccer growing up. My older brother, he's 2 years older. He kind of he started kicking in high school, and me and Matthew, we're twins actually, and we kind of just followed in his footsteps and just started to kick, and we started to enjoy it. And then obviously you get college interest, and then you just take it more serious, and then really just kind of went from there. But yeah, we all played soccer, and just figured out we were not bad at it, so why not try it?
Matthew is, I would assume, Mason, don't take this the wrong way, the smarter twin. When you went to Oklahoma State, he went to Hawaii. I think he probably had things figured out a little bit sooner. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. He he had a nice, he got, the scholarship and all that. I actually walked on, so yeah, he had it nice. So.
He went Hawaii, Arkansas. You mentioned your older brother Michael, who kicked at West Texas A&M, and then you went Oklahoma State as a walk-on. You mentioned then Texas State before finishing at the University of Texas. Can you kind of walk me through that journey, because you're clearly a guy who took advantage of an era that allows guys to go seek better opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. Out of high school, I actually took a gap semester. I was working at Discount Tire, and then went to Oklahoma State. Well, wasn't really, too fond of it. And I knew there was probably better opportunities. So I kind of came back to the great state of Texas, and the Texas State coach, he wanted me. So I went there, was there. I was under Jake Bates, who's the Detroit Lions kicker now, and another guy named Seth Keller. Really good guys that I met, and kind of got to be mentored by them, and they kind of showed me the ropes. So it was really good going to Texas State and just getting the experience for me and just learning just all the fundamentals about special teams and the operation and what goes into it. And then obviously towards my last year, or I guess after my last year, I knew there was, there's a world of NIL, and I just wanted to seek better opportunities. I knew that I was, probably kind of going to get something good. So I decided to enter the transfer portal, and Texas came along. It couldn't have been a better scenario, actually. It was funny. OU and Texas were both after me, so it was pretty funny. But just being able to stay close to home in Austin and the city that I love, so it was awesome to be able to come to Texas and put that burnt orange on. But yeah, it was a long journey, but definitely well worth it.
Did you grow up a Longhorn fan?
I actually didn't. I didn't really grow up anybody's fan. I was a big soccer guy.
Yeah.
So I wasn't I didn't grow up watching too much football until high school. Then obviously I went to high school in Austin, so the Longhorns were just that's the team.
Yeah. So it was an opportunity really to go home. So were you you were a Premier League fan?
Yeah. I was kind of.
We're not worried about the dog, dude. We hear dogs and babies crying. Seriously, don't even give it another thought. We don't care. We're good.
Yeah, I was a big BVB, Dortmund, the German team over there, because my grandma was from Germany. So
okay.
I've always been kind of a German fan. So.
Dude, kickers, y'all are fascinating people, man. People always say you got to be a little weird. You're loners, right? I mean, the rest of the team is all practicing and hitting everything. You're off on your own field, kicking and doing your drills, and you're kind of loners. But you kind of have to be a little, a little different like that. So it's pretty fascinating, man. Mason Shipley's our guest, Saints undrafted free agent kicker. So you'll be in New Orleans for the minicamp, I guess, in about a week or so?
I will, yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Have you been in New Orleans?
I have actually never been to New Orleans, but I have been to Louisiana a lot of times.
Okay. How have you been to Louisiana but not New Orleans? Where'd you go?
Yeah, it's weird. It really only for football, and I've passed through it a few times traveling, but I've been to Monroe, Shreveport, and Lafayette. Those are the three spots. I know that's it's nothing like New Orleans. That's what I've heard.
Well, so with respect to the guy who hosts the morning show on the station, who is from Evangel there in Shreveport, it was probably why you went, right, to play Evangel or West Monroe or something like that if you went for football? Yeah. Okay, so that's with much respect to the northern part of the state, we could probably just lower the border 20 miles and just give them to Arkansas. I'd be good with that. But much respect, I say with all due respect. Lafayette's awesome, tons of culture there, but it's going to be a smaller town than what you're going to deal with in New Orleans, which obviously so much culture and the city's fantastic, and you're going to find Saints fans are awesome as well. Hey, was Brandon Harris part of your recruitment to Texas?
So yeah, I talked with him because obviously he's the GM. But yeah, no, we spoke on my visit and whatnot, and he's a great guy. I like him.
Okay. Yeah, so Brandon he's actually a guy. He's a guy who played high school football in North Louisiana, then played obviously
Really?
yeah. So he's from North Louisiana and then played at LSU before finishing his career at North Carolina for his final year or two. And now he's obviously done great things over there as the GM at Texas. Hey, do you know anything about the Saints organization, coaching staff, roster, anything that gets you excited?
Well, I know the head coach, Colin Moore. I'm a big Cowboys fan, or I was a big Cowboys fan growing up. Obviously, now we're a Saints fan, but I know he was a coach there, and he played a little bit there in the NFL. So I was excited to kind of speak with him and excited to meet him too.
Okay. You know, I had written down on my notes, I wanted to ask you who your favorite team was growing up, and then you kind of threw me for a loop saying you were a soccer guy, you didn't really have a favorite team, and then you go drop the Cowboys on me, man. Like you're taking me on a little bit of a loop there, Mason. So how long were you a Cowboys fan?
I grew up in Dallas, so really my whole life. But I can't really say I'm a proud Cowboys fan. I've never been to a game, so I can't say I'm a diehard or anything. It was just being in Dallas.
Yeah,
it's just kind of given.
Well, man, tell me before we let you bounce. We appreciate the time, man. What's it like for you now between now and rookie mini camp, and then subsequent? Like, what do you work on try to make this team?
Yeah, it's been great after the season, kind of having a break and whatnot. Just being able to be home with my wife, spend time with her, hang out with my dogs, take them on walks and stuff I usually don't get to do. But other than that, just train. I mean, that's really about it. There's not much else other than training and then hanging out with my wife. So yeah.
What is your wife an athlete too?
She's not. She played basketball in high school, but or she was a gymnast too, actually. So I guess she's an athlete.
Yeah, I'd say she's an athlete, man. Don't sell her short, man. Hey, look, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thanks for the time. Thanks for having some fun, man. We'll be pulling for you. We wish you the best of luck in New Orleans, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Mason Shipley, Saints place kicker out of Texas, signed as a UDFA. Fascinating story. So, because you heard him talk about his brothers there. So, had one brother went to West Texas A&M. He went Oklahoma State, Texas. His twin brother, Matthew, started at Hawaii, then finished at Arkansas, if the name sounds familiar. So, I mean, they got a lot of that in their blood. So, it'd be really interesting to watch that one. Look, big fan of Charlie Smith. Had a chance to meet Charlie and chat with him at the Super Bowl. And Charlie, turns out, was like a huge, I shouldn't say huge, but very, very familiar fan of the show, very familiar with the show. But, you want to keep getting better. And hopefully these guys push each other, and may the best guy win. Wish Mason Shipley a lot of luck there with his opportunity maybe to make the Saints roster. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO for Arco Power Systems, Industrial Generac Generator Power. We talk about home standby generators. All people know all about that. Well, that's not what this is. This is not for your home. So don't call Arco and say, can you put a generator at my house? That's not what they do. They'll put a generator at your business. Commercial facility, industrial facility, big old generators that'll power your grocery store, gas station, banks, hospitals, government buildings, schools. That's what they do. It's Arco Power Systems, and everything's turnkey. Sell, service, install, rent your generator. In fact, in their yard, they have a lot of generators that they house in their yard. If storm comes, they need to dispatch or deploy them. People come, bring their trailers, boom, bring them to your place of business, wherever it is. It's Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, the post-spring top 25 has been updated. I want to dive into that a little bit. And I got some updated odds on national champion, Heisman winner, conference champions. We'll get into that as we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Weather is beautiful. Spring is here. Summer is around the bend. Y'all, it is time to get by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every single day to buy local and shop local. Pop on in and see the amazing, beautiful plants and flowers they have right now that'll beautify your outdoor space. They have dippledinas. I just saw this on their most recent ad. Erica loves dippledinas. I'll tell you, they're a tropical flower. They are gorgeous. There's red, pink, Maui sunset, white. We put these in patio pots around our pool. I mean, we buy a boatload of these every year. They're gorgeous. Knockout roses, drift roses, hibiscus, beautiful spring and summer flowers to add that pop of color. It is time, y'all. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
This week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is proud to support Dreams Come True during our annual Radiothon, helping grant dreams for children facing life-threatening illnesses. Tune in, make a donation, help us change a child's life during the Dreams Come True Radiothon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Thanks to First American Bank and Boudreaux's Electrical, along with Chad's Collision, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, and River Parish Contractors for making it happen.
That was a weird song.
I was wondering what you were doing there. Well, you all right?
What?
You're just like, you got a look on your face, like confused.
I was
You
trying to
weren't saying
refresh
anything?
something on my
Okay.
screen.
I was
I was listening. That's a weird song.
Okay.
I don't know what that guy's saying.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, ooh, maybe.
Could be. Let's see.
Shazam it. Let me see.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I like the beat.
And then stop talking.
Yeah. Oh.
You stop talking over the lyrics, Muse. You got to hit the post. Hashtag radio guy. So if you don't know, in music radio, if you ever listen to a music radio station, for people who are old enough, or if you're listening to music radio, when you hear a DJ talking during the intro of the song, they will typically walk right up to when the lyrics start. That's called hitting the post. That's what that was a reference to. Hopefully, Mason Shipley doesn't hit the goal post when he's kicking for the New Orleans Saints.
I like that one, yeah. Yeah, it'd be bad. I was going to say it means he misses, but not necessarily. You can doink it in.
You could.
You could doink it in.
You could. We'd just rather clean right down the middle.
Yeah.
Bovada's updated some odds for national championship, Heisman Trophy, and conference champion favorites. Speaking of Mason Shipley, coming to the Saints from Tejas. It's actually not Tejas. Did you know that? It's Texas. Tejas is like an Americanized thing. That's actually not how people from Latin America say Texas.
Huh?
Really?
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
You learn something new every day.
There you go.
I got my what we learned.
It's Texas. Anyway, conference championship favorites for the SEC, Texas at plus 280. Ohio State favored to win the Big Ten. Miami favored to win the ACC. They're by the way, they're minus 140. They're a heavy favorite to win the ACC. Texas is plus 280. Ohio State plus 180 in the Big Ten. So basically, Darian Mensah leaving Duke going to Miami makes Miami a prohibitive favorite to win that league and maybe make the playoff again. Heisman odds, no surprise. Arch leading the way, actually tied with C.J. Carr from Notre Dame for the best odds. Just behind those two is Trinidad Chambliss. They're at plus 750. Chambliss at plus 800. Dante Moore and Julian Sain each at plus 1,200, and Jeremiah Smith at plus 1,300. I'd tell you, a flyer on a guy like Sam Levitt isn't a bad idea, just because look, it's a quarterback award. We know quarterbacks are going to win it. So think of, okay, what quarterbacks are going to put up stats and be on teams that generally would have a lot of success. Like Darian Mensah at Miami would make a lot of sense. If I just told you they're a prohibitive favorite to win the league, a power conference, there's going to be a lot of attention. He's going to put up stats. Like Mensah would be a good value bet. I would say the same for Levitt because he's in Lane Kiffin's offense. And if you just watch Trinidad Chambliss become a 4,000-yard passer in this offense, why wouldn't a healthy Sam Levitt at LSU be able to do the same? That would be an interesting bet. The national champion odds, 3 teams share the lead. You would take a guess? You probably would take a guess. Which three? Three teams share the lead with the exact same odds as the best odds to win the national championship.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Georgia?
No. You want to phone a friend? Paulie, you got an idea? Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Those would have been my two guesses.
Ohio State. Texas?
Yeah. Nope.
No?
Nope. They're second.
Okay, they're second.
Yeah.
There's three teams, really?
Three
Is it obvious that I'm just missing this entirely?
I mean, one of them just won the national championship.
Indiana. Okay.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Well, I didn't know if they expect to take. Okay, Indiana,
And
Ohio State,
and the other is in
Oregon?
their state.
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Ohio
CJ
State,
Carr.
Indiana, Notre Dame, the betting favorites to win the national championship this year. Followed by Texas, Oregon, Georgia, and then Miami is the list. It's early. That's certainly subject to change, but it's interesting to look sort of at a post-spring practice update of odds and ratings and rankings and draft projections and all that stuff post-spring. What I'm really interested in is to see how much, if at all, these lists and odds change between now and the start of the season. Injuries will certainly change that, right? But there are no more spring transfers. So, like, it used to be like if you look at the NFL, you'd have these benchmarks. From the end of the season, you'd have odds, and then you'd have start a free agency, right? Odds would change. And then the NFL draft, odds change. And then maybe like another wave of free agency post-draft, it will change. So with college football now, your rosters are set. I mean, unless if you have an injury or a player gets booted off the team or something like that, like Brendan Sorsby leaving Cincinnati going to Texas Tech, like that changed those two teams' odds naturally. But now you've seen Texas Tech also drop because of the uncertainty around Sorsby. So, for example, Brandon Marcello, our buddy from CBS Sports, updated his post-spring top 25, and you did see some movement in his post-spring top 25. Like LSU is up to number 9 in his postseason top 25 from 11. So I think that certainly speaks to some of the progress that Lane Kiffin's team made. Texas Tech fell from 7 to 11 because of the uncertainty with Brendan Sorsby. And if you remember, we had Joey McGuire on AFR at the Bryan Awards in Houston there in January. And maybe it was beginning of February, but it was after the national championship. It was end of January, beginning of February. And we had Joey McGuire on, and obviously they had landed Brendan Sorsby, and he kind of told us the story about landing Sorsby and Sorsby visiting LSU and all that stuff. But what he said was, I'm paraphrasing, he said, we weren't planning on taking a quarterback to replace Baron Morton in the portal, but their backup, the guy who was going to be their starter, towards ACL. So they needed a quarterback, so it forced them desperately into the portal, and so they went and signed Sorsby. Well, now Sorsby, if you're seeing all the news around Brendan Sorsby, my goodness, I don't know how he retains his eligibility. There's a report today from On3 that they got a hold of some of the evidence. And by the way, all of this sports betting is all tracked. I mean, there is a paper trail of every bet you make on these apps. And so he was making, in some instances, 20 bets a day, betting thousands of dollars. And so, this is it's a very black and white rule. College athletes are not allowed to bet on college or pro sports, period. And there's a gigantic paper trail. This guy's made 20,000 bets. And in some instances was making, dozen bets a day. And he's ineligible, period. There is no counter argument for him. So that should dramatically change the landscape of college football at the top end. You're talking about a team that was in the college football playoff a year ago, went and signed one of the best quarterbacks in the portal, and now should very well be without him. I mean, Texas Tech don't have a quarterback. So what does that mean for the Big 12? It certainly opens the door for whoever might be next there in the Big 12. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, get on by Rouse's, y'all. They still have hot boiled crawfish every single day. Take advantage of it while you can. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Or get by any of the Rouse's locations near you. Remember, they've always got their weekly specials. So you can go to the website and check out the weekly specials. They have it on their social media also. So if you're interested, you're maybe shopping on a budget, you're someone who looks for a deal, you can always take advantage of this over at Rouse's. How about the value pack, 93% lean ground beef? This is the Rouse's Market brand. $5.47 a pound. Incredible. You got BOGO on Ore-Ida potatoes. Man, boy, I could eat me some Ore-Ida potatoes. The golden crinkles. Woo! Those Ore-Ida crinkle fries, the bag of them. Oh, drop those in some grease. Let's roll. BOGO right now over at Rouse's. The official supermarket of the Saints, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. Oh, yeah, it's after further review. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Oh, we're supposed to be at Spine Center today. We just had a little technical difficulty over there. We apologize. Get back there as soon as we can, so just raced back over here. Thanks to Jacoby and Guillory, who was here in hour number one. Mason Shipley, Saints undrafted free agent kicker, was here about 30 minutes ago. Mike Triplett's going to be here in about 45 minutes. And I want to talk to Mike about the work the Saints still clearly have to do and on this roster, and also which undrafted free agents he thinks have a really good shot of making the team. We're going to knock out a break. When we come back, I do want to jump back to the Saints. This is what I intended to start the show with, but with the technical difficulty I raced over here, we didn't get to it. But Mickey Loomis was a guest today on Mad Dog Radio and talked about both Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara and their futures in New Orleans. So I want to let you hear from Mickey Loomis, and I'll give you some thoughts as we continue here. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Major congratulations to Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Voted by you the best real estate team in the Best of Baton Rouge Awards from The Advocate, and why would it be anyone else? Darren James, number 13 in America on the Wall Street Journal Real Trends list of the top 1% of realtors in America. I'm talking about number 13 in the country. And that is objective data. That's the number of homes sold. That's how many times does Darren James get to a closing table. There's only 12 realtors in the entire country that do it more often than Darren James. So if you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com, agent225.com. That's the website. Or you can call Darren on his cell in the 225. You can call Darren James or log on to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Tigers and the Pros here in about a dozen minutes from right now. Also, next hour, I will give you an update on the LSU men's basketball roster. A lot of people looking around going, man, Will Wade's been here for almost a month now and one player. Give you an update on some things I've heard ear to ground. We'll do that coming up next hour. Mickey Loomis was a guest Wednesday on Mad Dog Radio. And he was asked about two Saints veterans that their status with the franchise is very much up in the air, both Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara, conversations that we've had for many months now with uncertainty about their futures in New Orleans. Let's take them one at a time. Obviously, New Orleans went to this draft, and we know they addressed edge rusher, both I shouldn't say in the draft, but during the draft, and then also after the draft. And for me, and I think many others, the Saints adding two people at defensive end is a pretty clear sign that they are moving on from Cameron Jordan. They traded for defensive end Tyree Wilson, of course, traded a fifth-round pick for Wilson, who's 28 years old, We know the story by now. Former 25 years old, former number 7 overall pick in the draft. And then they also added Anthony Jennings, a 28-year-old edge, former third-round pick, has been with the New England Patriots and has been a productive player during his time in New England. So they went and added 2 young veteran edge players to complement Carl Granderson and Chase Young. Cam Jordan's a free agent. He could have signed with New Orleans at any point. He has said the Saints don't make sense. And coming off a 10.5 sack season, Cam Jordan, we've talked about it. He wants a multi-year deal with guaranteed money. And the Saints clearly are not willing to give him that, nor should they, is my opinion. Same conversation we had with DeMario Davis. Now, I believe they should have given DeMario Davis a multi-year contract. I think the Saints should have given DeMario Davis the exact deal he got in New York. But they decided not to do that. And if you're not going to give DeMario Davis, who has been productive, literally had the most productive season of his NFL career this past year, if you're not going to give DeMario Davis that deal, then there's no way you're giving Cam Jordan a multi-year deal with guaranteed money that he wants. So the Saints clearly are showing you they're moving on. But this is what Mickey Loomis said on Wednesday.
Yeah, listen, we've had good conversations with Cam, and we'll continue to have that, and hopefully he's back with us for, I don't know, what is it, the 200th year of his career here. No, I mean, Cam has meant so much to our franchise, and he's had just a great career, and I'd be really excited if the Saints were the only team that he ever played for. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Hopefully we can make that happen. I know someone who can make that happen. Hey, Mick, I know someone who can make that happen. You can make that happen. But we all know the truth here. Like, actions speak louder than words. They talked to Cam. He became an unrestricted free agent. No one has signed him, which tells you what the market is for Cam Jordan, which clearly is not very robust. And teams went into the draft. The Saints addressed edge rusher with younger players. What Cam Jordan's opportunity is going to be, in my opinion, is think of what the Saints just did at cornerback. Mickey Loomis said it in the post-draft. They thought they would address cornerback replacing Alante Taylor early in the draft. They didn't do that. For whatever reason, too much value with Christian Miller, Mansour Delane wasn't there in round 1. Whatever the case may be, they didn't address corner until round 7. That's just not enough. And so they went into free agency, and they signed a free agent in Emerson after the draft. They wait. The draft was done, and then they went and addressed what needs remain, right? And now we talked about that, and I think they still have a giant hole there because while they've added bodies, they certainly haven't added like a true, legit number 1 corner. So the hope is Kool-Aid takes a big step, or maybe Quincy Riley in year 2 has a kaboom. I don't think that's going to happen. I just think they're going to be a team this year without a legit number 1 corner again. But so you look around the NFL and you look at teams that have a desperate need for edge rushers coming out of the draft, like the Saints did at corner. So it's the next wave of free agency, right? Like all the elite free agents sign right at the start of free agency, things settle, you have the second wave, well, then you have the draft, and then post-draft, well, what's still out there? Well, Cam Jordan's still out there. Now, I cover the New Orleans Saints. I don't cover every other team in the NFL. So I can't tell you the rosters of all 32 teams, the other 31 teams, to tell you who has an egregious, desperate need. If you look at what the pundits around the league say, it's Chicago and Dallas, Tennessee, the Lions, Bengals, Jacksonville. Those are the teams that seem to have a need right now for edge rusher support post-NFL draft. At least that's what AI tells me. Okay, well, there's a half dozen teams that I just rattled off that need help at edge, and Cam Jordan still is unsigned. Well, it tells you the story. The NFL does not view a 36-year-old edge rusher who's going to be 37 in July, even though he's coming off a 10.5 sack season, they do not view him as a value proposition. He's a Hall of Famer, but he is well past his prime. And he had 3 declining seasons before this one where he had a nice bounce back. But it stands to reason that this was the outlier. This was the exception. And so teams aren't going to invest multiple years into a guy that's about to be 37 that's been declining for 3 years. And so if Cam Jordan wants to play in New Orleans, great. Sign another 1-year incentive-laden deal and go make the team improve it. But you can't be a successful organization that's in the business of rewarding people for past performance. You sign players to a contract with the idea of that being what you are projecting them to be worth over the tenure of that deal. And no organization should give Cam Jordan at this point in his career a multi-year deal with a lot of guarantees. So if he wants to be a part of the Saints, great. But it's going to be on a 1-year deal that's incentive-laden. And we're going to have a similar conversation about Alvin Kamara after the Saints restructured his contract, basically to get out of it this summer. And after spending $50+ million on Travis Etienne. Well, Mickey Loomis was asked in that Mad Dog interview about Kamara.
I think we're still trying to, work through that to see where we're at roster-wise. And look, there's a couple areas there that we've got to, work through. So I'd rather not comment on it right now, but it's certainly an exciting possibility.
I don't think Alvin Kamara is very excited hearing that answer. Hey, Mick, is Alvin Kamara going to be on your roster this year?
I think we're still trying to, work through that to see where we're at roster-wise. And look, there's a couple areas there that we've got to, work through. So I'd rather not comment on it right now, but it's certainly an exciting possibility.
He don't sound excited. And I guarantee you Alvin Kamara ain't excited listening to that. That's okay. Look, I love Alvin Kamara. I love Cam Jordan. They're cornerstone members of this franchise. Dudes that one day are going to have their names in the Saints Ring of Honor, and rightfully so. But everybody, your day comes. And it's probably come for both of those guys. As this organization is turning the page, they're getting younger, they're getting more affordable, they're behaving like an actual, respectable, reputable, professional organization, responsible organization should. And I commend them for it. As hard as it is to say goodbye to players that are synonymous with your organization. Drew Brees' career ended. It's going to happen to everybody. Looks like it's happening to these two. Unless they want to take bargain basement deals and come trying to earn a roster spot. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com, name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shop them online. Learn more about the Charlie's Dozen, the dozen benefits extended to you and every member of your family when you buy your tires at Shaw Bills. Why would you go anywhere else? They've been around for nearly 60 years. They treat you like family. They're just amazing with the way they do work and how they keep giving back to the community. I love their social media as well. There's this spring tip that they just put on social. Make sure to swap out worn tires before all those spring showers hit. You know what they say? April showers, May flowers. Well, those showers are going to keep coming. They're supposed to be here this weekend. If you feel like you're not gripping the road like you used to, the tread on the tire is wearing thin, it's time for new tires. It's time to go to Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Muse New Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. We are going to revisit some of what Lane Kiffin had to say on Tuesday when he met with reporters. Again, Kiffin met with reporters for about 30 minutes. So we've hit some positions and some of what he had to say a day ago. We talked a lot about Kiffin's comments on Sam Levitt. We talked about cornerback and wide receiver, 2 of the position groups that I specifically asked about. But there's still a lot I want to make my way through. We're going to get to that here in about 15 minutes from right now. Talk about LSU football. And a Mike Triplett, 30 minutes from right now. What Saints UDFAs does he think actually has a shot to make the team? We'll get into that with Mike as we continue. That's here in about 30 minutes from right now. We'll go Tigers and the Pros next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
I was scrolling on Facebook earlier today, and I saw a post from Glow Resources, And it's just a reminder of how many different industries Glow Resources services, how many different businesses in so many different industries, really all over the world, that are that Glow Resources can help. Like this was a post as Glow Resources is hiring a journeyman plumber for a company in Baton Rouge. So whether it's skilled blue-collar labor, if it's the professional placement division to find any office job, if it's in Baton Rouge or New Orleans or the Panhandle of Florida or Texas, New York, New Mexico, anywhere, Glow Resources can help you find the right people to make your business the most efficient it could possibly be. They're online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions because they talk to you, the business owner. glowresources.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Tiger Baseball got a win on Tuesday night while we were in transit at the start of the show. For those that missed, we had a little technical difficulty while we were supposed to be at Spine Center. Big shout out to Dr. McCarthy and Dr. Harrod and all our friends over at Spine Center. They're amazing. We had sometimes technology, you don't want a technology. And that was one of those things that we raced back here at the studio. So Moose talked about the game last night, I think at the start of the show. It was one of those things where the game started very poorly. Reagan Ricken didn't record an out. And the bullpen did fantastic work by and large. Zach Cowan gave you 4 innings, threw up a bunch of zeros, allowed the offense to get going, and the offense got going. Curiel had 3 hits, had a monster homer to right center. Couple of doubles for Jack Ruckert, who continues to play well. Your young guys are going, so you win the game 12-4 against a good team. I mean, it's a good team from the Southland that's leading that conference in Southeastern. So really, a nice win for LSU that's looking for positives. And they'll head into this weekend against South Carolina. And Jay Johnson did update. Can you play that? He did update Casey Evans. Remember Monday on his coach's show, said the update was positive. So Tuesday after the game, this is what he said.
He's okay. He's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. He's good to go. Yeah. So I don't know, because we haven't thrown in 5 or 6 days, how quickly we're going to reboot him back to the mound. That's the only part of it that we're not sure.
So don't know if he'll pitch this weekend, which is fine. The best news is that there's nothing structurally wrong, right? When you have a power pitcher and you hear arm discomfort, you hope for the best. Unfortunately, your mind thinks the worst. But Jay's relief there was effectively saying, structurally, everything's good. So what you might have been thinking, don't think that because it's good. So we'll see if he pitches this weekend. But the bottom line is, look, LSU needs to sweep South Carolina. And if they don't have Casey Evans, that's not likely to happen. I'll remind you, South Carolina won a game against Texas. They're not a good team, but they're not horrible. Well, they're kind of horrible, but so are you. So sweeping anybody feels unrealistic at this point. It certainly is not even remotely possible if you don't have Evans pitching. So we'll see how it goes this weekend. But the good news, Casey Evans is good. All right, it's after further review. Muse, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
We'll start with some minor league baseball. A little afternoon action for the Asheville Tourists. It's the Astros affiliate. It's where we find Ethan Fry. Fry goes 1 for 3 today, an absolute 2-run bomb to straightaway center field, his first home run of the season. He also walked a couple of times as well. Tourists did fall 11-6, but good start there for Ethan Fry. Dylan Cruz 2 for 4 last night for the Red Wings, AAA affiliate of the Nationals, played center field, drove in a run, and also scored a run as well, drew a walk. One hit, one of the 2 hits was a triple, his first of the season there as Cruz tries to find his way back up to Major League Baseball. Paul Gervais for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, that is the AAA affiliate for the Dodgers. He threw 2 shutout innings a night ago of relief, 1 walk, 4 punch-outs. This guy who's made it to the major leagues already. It stinks to see him just waste away in the Dodgers minor leagues, but whatever. And then lastly, Tommy White has been called up to AAA. Made his debut last night, went 1 for 4, scored a run in the ballgame as well. One step closer there for Tommy Tanks. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge. And online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. Some amazing deals. How about $2,500 customer bonus on Crossport? That's the vehicle I drive. 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. They got deals on Tiguan, the compact SUV as well. And 2026 Taos. 3.9% for 60 months. Man, Jetta's got great deals as well. Go shop them on the website, SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. By make, model, body style, price, budget, any of it. You can narrow down your search. If it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Hour 3 after Sports Center.
AFR.
All right, y'all, put a button here on the second hour of a busy Hump Day edition of AFR. I do love telling you about Parish Restoration. Jim Woodworth, U.S. Air Force veteran, has spent his career in disaster relief post-military retirement, obviously. I've told you before, was there at Ground Zero in New York post 9/11, helping with the recovery there. Made his way back to the Gulf South after the BP oil spill, and now helps homeowners and business owners every day who might be dealing with mold or other harmful pathogens, smoke, restoration, odor. Parish Restoration is a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. If you're dealing with mold or any other harmful pathogen, it's mold remediation done right the first time. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll let it dwell. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free, clear, clean, smelling, sanitized space. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com.